Well, over the course of the next 30 minutes, we're going to take you through the northeastern states. This is your monsoon tracker, ladies and gentlemen. Relentless, unforgiving, and historic rain. Take a look. First up, we've got Assam. Over the past few days, northeast India as a whole has faced catastrophic monsoon onslaught, leaving behind a trail of tragedy and destruction. At least 30 lives have been lost, hundreds of villages submerged, and critical infrastructure crippled. From Assam to Arunachal, Meghalaya to Mizoram, Sikkim to, well, of course, Tripura as well. Let's start in Assam, the epicenter pretty much of the devastation. On the very first day of June, the skies opened up and Silchar, the city, recorded 415.8 millimeters of rainfall in just a span of 24 hours, shattering a 132-year-old record from the year 1893. The rain has refused to stop. The Barak Valley, it has bore the worst brunt, the worst of the fury. Silchar, Hailakandi and Karimganj have been pounded by rain measuring between 30 to 42 centimeters. Visuals from Silchar on your screens. A record that has been broken. A 132-year-old record that has been broken. 415 millimeter plus rainfall within a short span of 24 hours. And what's more is that the Brahmaputra, the river is swollen, it seems angry, and needless to say, flowing above the danger mark and spilling over. The Barak, the Katakhal, and the Buri Dehing rivers are all flowing above the danger levels. Assam State Disaster Management Authority, it reports over 1.44 lakh people that have been affected. With Silchar, Shribhumi, Lakhimpur and Nagaon amongst the worst hit. Entire neighborhoods are underwater. Take a look at some of these visuals. The ordeal of people and their resolve to be able to smile in such relentless downpour. Entire neighborhoods underwater, and in Guwahati, waist-deep water in Beltola, in Rukmini Gaon and Shribhumi has forced mass evacuations. Schools, offices and markets, they're all currently shut. That's the Indian Air Force that has now been deployed and mobilized to carry out the rescue operations. Relief camps are also sheltering over about 10,000 displaced residents, and rescue operations are underway by the State Disaster Relief Force, the National Disaster Relief Force. You've got the civil defense volunteers, the local clubs, the police, the administration, and of course the residents are also joining in on these rescue efforts. Transportation has completely been crippled. Take a look at the state of the roads in the state of Assam. Trains have been cancelled. Aviation has taken a massive hit. Train cancellations, particularly across the Barak Valley. Ferry services on the Jorhat-Majuli route, they've been suspended as well. This is how the residents of Guwahati are having to wade through knee-deep water, somewhere waist-deep water. And across the northeast, the rain hasn't spared any state. Arunachal Pradesh, landslides and flash floods have been reported. Meghalaya has reported over 770 millimeters of rainfall. All of that rainfall coming down towards Assam. In Mizoram, 5 people have been died, including 3 Myanmar refugees in rain-related incidents. Manipur is completely flooded as well. And in a daring rescue operation that we just showed you, the helicopter, the Indian Air Force, it airlifted 14 people trapped in Bomjir River on the Assam-Arunachal border. When now Silchar, it's already been battered in 2022 by the Barak dike breach and is now once again on its knees. Barak Valley is the worst hit district. At least 32,000 people that are affected in Shribhumi, and these are various areas in Assam. That's how Assam is deluged at the moment. The town is going to be remained shut till Tuesday. Most of the villages in Barak Valley also affected. The Guwahati region completely submerged, schools that have been shut down indefinitely, and the town is going to be remain shut till Tuesday. Trains between Baraigram and Dulabchera have been suspended as well. Himanta Biswa Sarma, the man on your screens, we've got some visuals of the Chief Minister taking stock of the situation. He visited the flood-hit Amtola in Lakhimpur, assuring quick relief and rehabilitation once the waters finally recede. And at the center level, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, he spoke to the Chief Ministers of Assam, Arunachal, Sikkim, the Governor of Manipur, promising every possible assistance from the center. He wrote on X, and I quote, "The Modi government stands like a rock behind the people of Northeast." He's already spoken to the chief ministers of the northeastern states, and he said spoke with the chief ministers, assured them all the help of every possible help to tackle any kind of rain-related situation. But the truth remains that nature's fury is not yet over. The India Met Department has warned that unstable weather system fueled by the upper air cyclonic circulations and throws from east UP to Arunachal could continue to persist. An orange alert remains in place for many districts across Assam and Arunachal Pradesh. And as the people of Northeast India brave this unprecedented crisis, of course, News 9 stands in solidarity with them. The loss is immense, lives, homes, memories, but so is the spirit of survival. And the next few days are going to be very critical, and we'll bring you each and every update. At this point in time, let's quickly shift our focus to what Union Minister Kiren Rijiju, he shared a post on social media sharing that crucial update from flood-ravaged Northeast. We showed you that visual before as well. Taken to social media, Rijiju posted that dramatic video of the coordinated rescue efforts. He wrote, he captioned this post by saying, "A critical humanitarian assistance and disaster relief mission is being launched by the Indian Air Force, the Central Armed Forces, the NDRF and the state government forces in Northeast India." Needless to say, the government is going all out. Massive mobilization is underway to aid those that are stranded due to the relentless floods and the landslides. With visuals of aerial evacuations, we've got aerial visuals of entire cities now completely deluged and submerged homes, desperate calls for help that are growing louder. And this is now a full-scale disaster response. Kiren Rijiju, Union Minister's post, underlines the seriousness of the situation and, of course, the centre's commitment to step in swiftly as well. And whilst we're talking about landslides, the most affected have been Mizoram and Sikkim. So let's now turn our attention towards Mizoram, where days of persistent rainfall have now caused widespread disruption across the state. Some of those visuals on your screens. And Mizoram has been lashed by heavy rain. It has triggered landslides, flooding and sinking of land in several districts. Authorities confirm that at least 5 people have lost their lives, including 3 refugees from neighboring Myanmar. The scale of impact is concerning as well. 211 landslides have been reported so far, blocking 83 roads and highway routes, hampering both the local movement and the emergency response efforts. In the southern district of Lunglei, bordering Bangladesh, more than 20 families from the Tiparagat village have been evacuated. Rivers are in full spate, known as the Karnapuli in Bangladesh. This river has been swelling dangerously. And in Labung town, located nearby, at least 11 families were also shifted to safer areas as water levels continue to rise. Similar evacuations took place in Sairang, around 20 kilometers from Aizawl, where over 10 families were moved after the Tulang River, the longest river in Mizoram, began inundated homes. The Langtulai district bordering Myanmar, at least 21 families in Vartek village were evacuated as the Chimtuipui river, also known as the Kaladan, overflowed, submerging 12 more homes. In the town areas of Chandmari and Bazar in Langtulai district, officials report that 6 buildings and 1 house were damaged due to the rain-related incidents coming down one after the other. Rescue teams managed to pull out 3 people safely from the debris just this past weekend. And back in Aizawl city, in the Mission Vengthalang area, 7 families had to vacate their homes after the ground underneath began sinking. 3 buildings were declared unsafe. The state authorities have confirmed that all schools across Mizoram remain closed for the 3rd straight day today. The decision comes in light of continued weather-related disruptions, including landslides, we're talking about mudslides, rockfalls, waterlogging, etc. Chief Minister Lal Duma, he's chaired an emergency meeting just this past weekend on Sunday to review the ongoing situation. The State Disaster Management and Rehabilitation Department officials, they were in attendance at this crucial high-level meet, along with district officials from the affected zones. The focus remains on relocation, road clearance, and restoring connectivity. Landslides were reported from over 13 new locations on Sunday alone, underscoring the continued risk in the hilly and low-lying areas. Authorities have urged citizens to stay alert, especially in landslide-prone zones, and follow evacuation advisories. Strict lead relief teams are on the ground, and monitoring efforts are going to continue as the rainfall persists. Well, we will continue tracking the situation in Mizoram and bring you timely updates as rescue, relief and recovery efforts progress. But now shifting our focus towards Arunachal Pradesh, where torrential monsoon rains continue to batter the region, triggering landslides, floods and widespread damage across multiple districts of the state. According to officials, at least 10 people have lost their lives over the last 2 days due to landslides and flood-related incidents across the state. The State Emergency Operations Center reports that 938 people across 156 villages in 23 districts of the state have been directly affected by the ongoing deluge. Amongst the latest casualties, the body of Guptajit Bharali, who had been swept away by floodwaters in Lohit district, was recovered downstream just this past weekend. In a separate and tragic incident on Friday night, 7 people, including 2 families, died when a massive landslide on the Banasepa stretch of National Highway number 13 in East Kameng district swept away their vehicle. In Lower Subansiri, 2 laborers were buried under debris whilst working on a cabbage farm near Pine Grove. 2 others were rescued, fortunately. Now, flash floods from the Buri Dehing River in Changlang district have washed away half of the Makang Tong Bridge, cutting off road access between Miao and Bordumsa. Several parts of Miao and the subdivision are underwater, with reports of damage to livestock and crops, and these are still preliminary numbers. The numbers very well could be going up. Tourist spots like Zupra and River Cafe, located along the Nao Dehing River, are completely submerged. And in nearby Balingnong, the Industrial Training Institute has suffered massive losses as well, with floodwaters damaging hostels, staff quarters and the water tanks. Well, in Namsai, a relief camp has been set up at the Alubari Government Secondary School, where 59 people have so far taken shelter. We also have a dramatic video from the Anjao district that has gone viral. It shows a local man crossing a flooded river on a traditional hanging bridge, a stark reminder of the extreme conditions the locals are facing during the monsoon in this remote and mountainous state. Look at the spate of the flooding river. Look at the speed of the flooding river. The ordeals and perils of living in these mountainous regions. Governor Lieutenant General K.T. Parnaik, he has expressed deep sorrow at the loss of lives and urged citizens to stay alert, especially in the vulnerable zones. He's called on district administration to enforce night movement restrictions and communicate risks clearly to avoid further casualties. Flood-like conditions and landslides have been reported in West Kameng, Kamle, Subansiri, Papumpare, Dibang Valley, Lohit, Changlang and several other districts across Arunachal Pradesh. Rivers and tributaries are flowing above the danger levels, adding to the crisis. And in Upper Subansiri, the water supply system has taken a hit, a hard one. A key pipeline was breached in multiple places following heavy rains. The PHED teams are working on the repairs, whilst water tankers are being deployed for temporary relief. Deputy Commissioner Taso Gambo and other officials visited the site this past weekend to oversee the restoration work. 2 people still remain missing, one at Parshuram Kund in Lohit district and another in Anjaw district. Search and rescue operations are ongoing. Now, the administration across Arunachal Pradesh remains on high alert. Emergency services are being mobilized and relief camps have been activated in the worst hit areas. Well, we'll keep bringing you updates as the situation evolves in Arunachal Pradesh. And for those in affected zones, please stay indoors, avoid travel in landslide-prone areas and follow official advisories very, very closely. Whilst we're talking about Arunachal Pradesh, let's also shift our focus to Sikkim. Because in the quiet of the night between the 30th and the 31st of May, a monstrous cloudburst in North Sikkim turned paradise into purgatory. The mighty Tista River, it rose in rage by nearly 40 feet, snapping roads. We're talking about collapsing bridges, lives completely at risk. In the scenic district of Mangan, what was once a haven for tourists, it's now ground zero for devastation. River on your screens. 1,500 tourists, men, women, children, they're stranded, frightened, cut off from the rest of the world as rescue teams battled the landslides, rain and time to bring them back. The Sangklang suspension bridge, we're earlier learning that was completely washed away. The vital Gangtok, Chungthang, the Dikchu Sanglang and the Mangantung routes have been obliterated. Border road organizations Project Swastik and the BRO teams are out in full force, laying temporary tracks, restoring lifeline links. But amid the chaos, there's tragedy. A tourist vehicle that plunged into the roaring Tista. Eight other tourists are still missing. Shatin in Lachen, the nation weeps because on the night of the 1st of June, a catastrophic landslide struck the Indian Army camp. 3 brave men, Havaldar Lakhvinder Singh, Lance Naik Munish Thakur and Porter Abhishek Lakhada, laid down their lives in the line of duty. 6 more remain missing at this point in time. The search and rescue operations continue day and night under treacherous terrain. The Indian Army, the Indian Air Force, the BRO, they're leaving no stone unturned despite the pouring rain and the collapsing hills. They're pushing forward, rescuing civilians, protecting comrades and rebuilding hope. The Indian Army has assured families that every possible support will be extended to those grieving this immense loss. This isn't just a natural disaster, it's a humanitarian crisis. It's a reminder of nature's fury and man's resilience, of our dependence on mountainous roads and the bravery of those who rebuild them, of the beauty and the fragility of our northeast as it continues to reel under incessant rainfall. Sikkim now waits for the rain to stop, for the bridges to reconnect, for the loved ones to return back home. But in the silence of the hills, under the thunder of monsoon clouds, the people of Sikkim stand strong. Let's also quickly unfold the humanitarian crisis in Manipur, where nature's fury has spared no one as well. In just 48 hours, the state has been left battered by incessant rains, the landslides and river bursting its banks, leaving behind a trail of destruction and despair. At least 3,800 people have been directly affected. Over 880 homes have been damaged. 12 landslides have rocked the state of Manipur. And the capital, Imphal, is barely recognizable. Take a look at some of those aerial shots on your screens. Streets have turned into rivers, homes into islands. Drone footage from the Chekong and the Wangkhei. These areas show houses marooned, shops submerged, and residents wading through knee-deep waters just to survive and get by. The trigger? A massive breach in the Imphal River embankment at 4 separate points, leading to widespread flooding in Imphal East and West as well. The Iril River, it too is now flowing above the danger level. The worst hit areas include Khorai and Haingang constituencies, where floodwaters have simply refused to recede. In a rare display of coordination and urgency, the Indian Army, the Assam Rifles, Manipur Fire Service, the SDRF and the NDRF, they're all collectively conducting relentless rescue operations. And since Saturday, over 1,500 people have been evacuated from vulnerable areas. The rescue of, and very recently, 37 patients from the flood-hit Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Sciences is a striking example of courage in these times of crisis. Even blood supplies, they were airlifted to RIMS to ensure medical service and medical health infrastructure remains intact. On Saturday alone, 800 civilians were rescued. Troops from the Assam Rifles were deployed with quick reaction teams to the worst affected localities, Porompat, Sanjanthong, the Khorai area and several others. 2 major columns of the Indian Army went house to house rescuing hundreds, including women, children and the elderly.